Hey guys, it's Breezy Gaming TV back here with another video. It's this video I'm gonna talk about DPI, mouse sensitivity in game, and all those crap. Because a lot of people, what we do, a mistake that we do often is we try to reproduce what the pros do, right? A lot of people they want to reproduce exactly what the pros do. JW, Kenny S, Olaf Meister, you name them. We all want to be like them, so we copy their sensitivity, and we often see that we're not able to actually perform like them. So I'm gonna show you that what is a good sensitivity. It's actually none of the above. You play with your own sensitivity, with your own playstyle too. So I'm gonna show you two playstyle that people play more often. I'm gonna hop in game, but before that I'm gonna talk to you about DPI. Personally, a lot of people will be really shocked with me, but I play on 2400 DPI. That's really shocking, right? Because a lot of people will think that I'm actually playing with 400, 600, or 800 DPI, but it's false. I play with 2400. Does that make me a noob? No, I'm Legendary Eagle Master, and I'm able to one-tap correctly, flick shot correctly, play very good on pistol rounds, and trace people's heads. So I'm gonna show you something else too. I'm gonna hop in game right now, so let's go. Boom. And I'm also gonna change the angle of my webcam soon, just to show you that how people play and what styles they play, right? So, but I'm gonna hop in a game right now. Right, I'm back here. I'm not sure if you're able to see. There's two ways of playing. A lot of people play with wrist. That means their wrist is just stuck to their mouse pad like that. So how they play is, I'm trying to angle my webcam right here. So how they play is that they only use their wrist, right? So they use their wrist and they just try to kill targets with their wrist, right? That's one way of playing the game. That's fine. And the other one, more common, is the one that they actually play with their hands. So they actually move on the mouse pad. So you can see here, you actually move your the whole arm instead. So you can see my forearm. I'm actually moving the forearm. So that's the second style of playing. So see here. So you see, there's different types of how to actually play. Depends on what you're more comfortable with. I'm more of a wrist player, but it's not to exclude that I can't play with arm. I used to play with arm before, long time ago, and it's just not my style. Let's stop right here. So as you can see here, there's two ways of playing it. So there's ways of playing it with just the wrist right here, and playing with your whole arm. So if you play with your whole arm, you just have to have a bigger mouse pad. I have a fairly big mouse pad, so that's fine for me. If I am able to do these jerky movements, go up and down, you know, you can actually move, but you need some arm space. So you can see here, I like to play with my elbow on my chair, so I can actually, you know, play with my wrist. If you play with your arm, you need to play on a higher level. So for me, I probably would not have this, and actually I would be playing on my table itself, so I can have more room to use my whole arm. Right now, my setup is more for wrist, so it depends on how you want to play. That's how I play. I'm more of a wrist player, and I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a wrist player, and I'm not ashamed. I'm more proud to actually say that I'm not a silver player. And I'm able to hit some shots. As you can see, I'm able to hit some shots. Which leads me to conclude that there's no one way of playing the game. There's a lot of ways of playing the game. You can play with as a wrist player. As you can tell here, if I play with my wrist here, I'm able to hit some shots. Really not warmed up, whatever. But I'm able to hit shots here. It's perfectly fine. And there's nothing wrong with being a wrist player. It's just the way that you're playing it, right? Let me put this delay back to 75. Here, start. There's nothing really wrong with playing as a wrist player. It depends on what your style is, right? So if your style is more like, if you're more an arm player, then so be it. So that's your way of playing it. But for me, I'm more of a wrister, so I play with my wrist. For my sensitivity, I play 0.74. As you can see here, it's 0.74 with a 2400 DPI. So yes, it is kind of fast, but I'm still able to trace heads. Like if people actually trace, I'm able to trace heads even if I'm really far away. Right here, I'm able to trace heads fairly fine. Depends on how you're actually playing it. So it depends if you're able to actually control your mouse correctly the right way, you'll be able to hit some shots. So it's not, there's this myth of like lower is always better or higher is always worse, but it's actually according to you how you play. Because if you're used to play one style, keep it that way. If you're used to play that style, keep it that way. If you find whatever, however, I urge you to try this map right here. I'll link this map in the description below to test how easy you are, how good you are at landing your shots. If you find that you're having a hard time landing your shots, if you're an ARM player and you're not able to do it correctly, lower or get your sensitivity higher. If you're not able to fight long range, let's say you're on Dust 2 and you're not able to hit someone on long A because they're moving too much and your mouse you can't get to their head, then you should probably consider change your sensitivity something lower because you'll be able to hit them better. So I mean, if you're on these maps, you actually test your reflexes and how you aim. So as you can tell, I'm able to hit these shots fairly easily. I'm able to trace, flick, and do all kinds of things, right, in the right way. So it depends on how you're able to aim. So me, I used to be an ARM player until I stopped playing CS. I think after I stopped playing CS, I took a 10-year break and I played all kinds of MMOs and RTSs and MOBAs, so I got used to being a wrist. So, and also when my parents bought me this table, I never changed it. I know I'm old, I never really changed it yet, so I always still use my wrist setup. Will I ever change back to ARM? Maybe one day when I get my own desk and my arm is more on the table, then maybe I'll use my arm a little bit more. As of now, I'm comfortable with my sensitivity, and just be comfortable with yours. What you need to change is lower it if you're not able to hit targets from afar, because if you're really far, you need to be able to trace the heads fairly easily. You can't miss them, and if your one flick goes too far, and when you're really long range, let's say in Dust 2, then it's something that you need to adjust. You probably have to lower your sensitivity by a little bit. What I would suggest, depending on what your DPI is, you should adjust by 0.1, 0.2, 0.25, 0.4, or however you want to do it, but don't do huge increments. I would never change my sensitivity from 0.74 to 0.5. That's way too much for me because my DPI is already high. So depend on how you play it. Standard DPI, a lot of people have 400 or 800 DPI and they play from 0.9 to 3 sensitivity on those DPIs. So just try to find your style. If you're an ARM player or you're a wrist player, depends on how you want to play. Just make sure that it's comfortable for your own use and you're able to hit your shots easily when you're far away. And also, I'll put this link in the video description so you can actually practice in this map. Actually, this is my favorite map to practice on for my aim, because before aiming, I really need to get used to my mouse. Even though I use it every day, practice makes it perfect, alright? Because there's some days that you're cold and you need to get on these maps and practice for fairly maybe 10 minutes just for your eyes and for your mouse to actually get in a line, like your hand and your eye coordination. Hand-eye coordination, is that what you call them? I have no clue. My native language is not English, it's French. So just get practicing, guys, and get better, and hopefully this helped you in a way. If anything, please add me as a friend on Evolve community. You can actually also find me on the link below as well. Subscribe, like, comment, whatever. Just let me know and I'll try to help you as much as I can. If you did not know, from my last video, I hit Legendary Eagle Master, which I'm very proud of myself. Peace.